Good afternoon and happy Thursday. I am in your screen. Hi everyone, I am Tanjanika Lewis, better known as Tanjanika the author. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If it is your first time clicking on my face, hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. If it is not your first time clicking on my face, well, welcome back. And thank you for choosing me again. Now, described in the title below, we'll be talking about 5 ways to expand on a story idea. Now, last week we talked about how to spark inspiration for a story idea. And this week we're going to talk about some ways that some things that I do to expand on a story idea that I have. So, let's go ahead and dive right into the tips. Tip number 1, I use the main character's backstory. I don't know about you, but when I decide who my main character is, I also try to think about how they got to the place where the story starts. In my mind, no story that I'm going to write is going to start at the dawn of time. Or at least not as of right now. Who knows, in the future I might write one. I don't know. But as of right now, it always starts within someone's lifespan. So there has to be some things that happen before they get to where I start putting metaphorical pen to paper. So I try to think about the things that they may have gone through, the things they may have experienced, and I try to use those things to kind of expand the story idea beyond just a straight shot of this character and what it is they're going through. It kind of adds depth and range to it. But that's what I do. So I use the main character's backstory to expand on the story idea. Tip number 2, and I have my notes down here. So tip number 2, I expand on the scenery. So whatever city or whatever place, whatever state I have my story based in, I try to do some research on the history and the culture of that place, because I can use that to expand the story idea. Now, if I haven't decided where the place is or if the place is fictitious, then I find myself combining cultures and combining histories of places that I'm familiar with. So I use that to build up a story idea. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think that makes sense. Let me know down in the comments below if that doesn't make sense. But yes, so I use scenery expansion to grow my story ideas. Tip number 3, I use the relationships with co-characters. They could be family members, they could be friends, they could be siblings, but I try to pull off those relationships or pull on those relationships to kind of expand the story outward, so that my characters don't come off one-dimensional. It could be a sibling, and I try to think about when that sibling entered into the character's life. Was the character old enough to appreciate having a sibling, or were they young enough to have the mindset of this person is taking my parents away from me, and that kind of adds color to the relationships in a book. It also helps to grow out the story idea, for me anyway. Tip number 4, I like to pull on the cultural and I like to pull on the ethnicity of my characters, be it a main character or be it a co-character. Sorry, my nose is itching. But be it a main character or a co-character, I try to pull on the ethnicity or the cultural background of that character. Am I gonna sneeze? No. Anyway, and that helps to expand the story idea. If you haven't decided what ethnicity your main character is going to be or what ethnicity a character is going to be, it's nice to mix and match and to mash up a few. I find that it adds a nice color to the story itself if you add some very distinct cultures to your characters. It causes you to do a little bit of research, but I feel that it just draws a reader in when they could, especially if that reader is of that culture, when they could identify with your characters on that level. So I use that also to expand story ideas. Number 5, the last but not least, I use distinct physical characteristics of my main character to expand story ideas. And when I say distinct physical characteristics, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a scar or anything like that. I find myself using just common things like hair color, hair texture, eye color, eye shape, height. I also want to branch out though into using things that are a bit more not so run-of-the-mill. Things like scars. I'm playing around with a main character that has vitiligo and kind of the backstory of how she felt when she started developing it or when she developed it, etc., so on and so forth. But what I'm saying is that can also help, let me get back on topic, that can also help expand a story idea if you pull on characteristics like that and then give the characteristic a backstory. Maybe your character has a white streak in their hair. And it's like, when did the white streak start showing? Why do they have a white streak? Etc., so on and so forth. So that can also help to expand on a story idea. Now, if you have stuck with me through this whole video, kudos to you for sticking to the end. And you might as well go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Why not? And you can see my face every Thursday. Go ahead and hit that bell notification next to it so that you will be notified when I upload videos. Also, if you want more Tan shenanigans, all of my social medias are linked in the description box down below. Go ahead and click, get you an extra dose of Tan. And I will see you guys next Thursday. And I will see you at the turn of the page. Bye.